So I ordered the 9-foot 3/4, actually 9-foot 3/4 stovepipe, and when I installed it, and it was a hell of an ordeal to actually roll this up. Anyways, when I finally did the right thing and followed directions on YouTube, I put it onto the stove, and I found it was just way too large, too tall. So I cut with tin snips about 2 feet off, and I found it was a really much better length. It wasn't wobbly, and I think that's very critical. Is at the end of the day, is when you have this in a tent, sure, depending on the size of where the stove jack is, it's going to help support and prevent a little bit of wobble. And obviously you're going to tie it down too with guy points off the spark arrestor. But I felt that 9 feet, over 9 feet, was just way too much, especially for the tent that I purchased, the Nortent Gammy 6. So more on that when I actually get that tent in my hands next week from Norway. The actual stove, I burned in for I think over 4 hours, so just about 3/4 of a bag of wood from the local gas station, and it was pretty good wood too, nice and dry. And fiddling around with first of all, it was very easy to start the fire. I did cheat a little bit, and I used one of my favorites, actually, birch paper, and little squares of fuel that help facilitate the burn faster. Within the hour, it just started burning nice and clean, and as you can see, it's now patinaed quite nicely to what you expect for titanium, to go a little bit bluish, and the same with this. So I'm hoping when I go out into the backwoods that this won't be a problem anymore. I don't think it will be. I have a good sense it's it's been burned in, and the memory is now intact. But I won't paint this nice and fluffy. It was a pain in the ass without another person, at least. And so with the one thing I have an issue is with Pomoly and not providing you any sort of instructions on how to facilitate a good install the first time. Didn't even mention anything about burn-ins and stuff, but that's what we have Facebook, Pomoly member group, and YouTube and all the like. But I think it's very important that Pomoly actually give you an understanding of what you need to do, what your expectations are as a new owner, to make sure that this works perfectly. So all in all, I'm quite happy. I knew that messing around with the baffle, or pardon me, the flue, the tent gets, or pardon me, the stove gets really hot when you put it onto basically level, so it's not closed really, but it's in a closed position. And I can see right here that there's at least 3 millimeters around it that will allow for smoke to get out. But when I did close it, put it in the closed position, the flue that is, it started to get nice and red hot. So that helped speed up the burn-in, and I'm quite pleased. So we're gonna now take it apart. And empty it. No warping at all, just what you expect. And I will empty this. You will need to take this off. This has to get off. Would actually put them back on after the fact, but and then this would, I would just store nice and clean somewhere in there, and it fits nice and tightly into the actual decent bag that they gave us. So voila. I definitely do recommend these gloves when rolling up the pipe. I mean, sure, it's a little minor cut, but you don't want cuts when you're out in the backcountry. It's just one less thing to worry about. Wear these gloves. So that's it. I think it's a really good purchase. It's the T1 Ultra titanium stove by Pomoly.